I love how my camera takes forever. It's like click, and then 27 seconds later it goes ahead and shoots through. What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. It has been a crazy morning, and you know what? I realized this is like my first Saturday off in like a month. I have been working my freaking butt off. Now, this video today is about Atkins, and the title was slightly changed for a reason. It's actually the title is it easy to follow Atkins or something like that. But the actual focus on the video is what's the most difficult thing about Atkins. Now, the reason I didn't post that is because I don't think it would be searched as much. I could be wrong. I've been known to be once. No, but seriously, what is the hardest thing about Atkins? Okay, I'm going to break it down. First of all, Atkins, pretty much no carbohydrates. You're going to go from eating, general diet is like 2 to 3, maybe 500 carbs a day. It just depends on you. I was probably more towards 500. The average, they say, is 2 to 300, I believe. I'll Google it right now. How many carbs do people eat in a day?
Here's a summary from Mayo Clinic. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends that carbohydrates make up 45 to 65% of your total daily calories. If you get 2,000 calories a day, between 900 and 1,300 calories should be from carbohydrates. That translates to between 225 and 325 grams of carbohydrates a day.
Bingo. 225 to 235 calories or carbs, grams of carbs per day. Okay? So that's a lot of carbohydrates before you pull out the carbohydrates to go Atkins. Generally speaking, most people start Atkins induction phase. They don't do like the reverse. It may be easier to clean up your diet and stuff like that and go to Atkins 100, then Atkins 40, then Atkins 20. But to be realistic, like, people want results now. The hardest thing is going from understanding what you can eat on Atkins and understanding what you were eating before. For me, I feel like that's one of the most difficult things that I had to wrap my mind around. It is still an ongoing process. This is years later. I've gone in and out of Atkins, and I've done different things, and I've tried all kinds of different things. To this day, you still have to read labels. It doesn't matter if you're familiar with a food, you're unfamiliar with the food. Doesn't matter. Okay, 90% of the things you pick up are not going to be stuff you can eat. I'm just going to throw it out there. But that doesn't mean that, out of billions of things to eat, what do you get? 10% is a million? There's still stuff out there that you can eat. I would say if you're looking for stuff that you can eat, good quality whole foods is going to be a much larger category for you to be able to pick from. Junk foods, you might as well just chalk it up as they're gone, at least for a while. Now, understanding what you can and can't eat is probably going to be one of the most difficult things because, and let me say this on a side note, the most difficult thing with dieting in general, or new way of eating in general, is understanding what you can get away with and what you can't. And I say getting away with because, trust me, after you've been doing Atkins induction for a while, you're going to try to F the system and figure out how the heck you can eat bad but not eat bad. It's just the way we do things, okay? And all of us have gone through it, I promise you. Or if you haven't, you will. I would say keep that out of your mind. Stop trying to think like that. And understand that you don't have to change all at once. Change it little by little, but this will eventually be something that spills over into your healthier lifestyle, and probably need to be using it for a long period of time. Meaning healthier options versus trying to figure out how you can screw the system. Because you can't. I promise you. You might be able to get away with it for like a week or two, but then eventually you're just going to fall off and it's going to fall apart. So, understanding what you can eat, understanding what you can't eat is going to be a forever ongoing process. Now, if you stick to whole foods specifically, you'll probably master it in like a year or two. Maybe even less, maybe a month. Depends on how much you read. Because realistically, low carbohydrate fruits, vegetables, and meats and stuff like that is going to be what you can follow. Dairy, stuff like that. If it's not those, chances are it's not going to be on your list. The other thing that I feel is going to be the most difficult thing for following Atkins is, oh my gosh, total brain fart. What was the other thing? Is I'm totally freaking skipping my train of thought here. What the heck? I totally lost my train of thought. This was actually the thing I was making the video about. The other thing with Atkins induction phase is understanding. Oh my gosh, I have to pause the video. Okay, I'm back, but I don't think I actually figured it out, but I think I remembered something else. Another thing that is extremely difficult. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the transition process. I'm all excited because that just came to me like an epiphany. The transition the process in which you are transitioning from carbohydrates as a fuel burning source to fat as a fuel burning source is going to be the most difficult for everybody, mainly including people that have done it before. More so, people that have done it before rather than people for the first time. People that have done it before have this inflated sense of, I know what I'm doing, including me. So we end up trying to basically F the system. Figure out ways around it. Now here's the thing. Two things are going to happen with anything you do to lose weight. You're going to go into a caloric deficit. I don't give a damn what you say. If I follow Atkins right now, it puts me at about 16 to 1800 calories. Boom, caloric deficit right away. Because my BMR is way higher than that. Like, I'm supposed to be consuming like 2200 calories a day. So I'm already in a huge deficit by doing so. Now, what do? I'm going to explain to you what I did. I'm trying to get into induction phase right now because my food's been all wacky and I've been having a hard time. What do? I try to sneak in protein. I try to sneak in a piece of chicken breast. I try to sneak in a little ham. Now, that's fine and I'm low carb, okay? But the thing is, I'm not going to be losing weight because I'm not in a freaking calorie deficit. I'm trying to fill the deficit because I'm hungry, okay? It takes a few days for your stomach to shrink. But also, you're also fighting the caloric deficit in tandem with fighting the idea of no more having carbs, which is kind of like a drug addiction, basically. The keto flu that they tell you about is actually your body saying, no more carbs, no more glycogen, we're going to run off fuel. And it says, rip out the carbs, throw in the fat, and let's be honest, when you get one player, you take one player out and you throw one player in, there's a process in which everybody has to try to figure out what's going to work best and how it's going to be most copacetic to be able to have an efficient fuel burning process again. And you're going to go through like 2 or 3 days where you're really struggling. You're struggling mentally, you're struggling emotionally, you're struggling physically, like all of these things. And here's the thing. Some people, seems like women tend to do so better. Women have this societal pressure of not eating too much, and generally speaking, they're a little bit better at starving themselves. I know that sounds whack, but guys, we're like, oh yeah, put on more muscle. We need muscle. We need muscle. We transition eating to like food. Like, it's a bad thing. You look at a guy that's all big and burly, and you're like, he's real strong. Technically speaking, he's not, okay? That's just not the way it is. And society makes women want to be thin or whatever, and that's just the two ways. Like, when I get a client that is thin, or when I get a woman client, usually she wants to lose weight. When I get a guy client, he wants to build muscle. It's just the way it is. Like, it's the way society, I think, puts those pressures on us. So, that being said, men tend to have a harder time with the transition from what I've seen. Not everybody or whatever, but understanding that the hardest part of this is going to be the fact that you're now in a caloric deficit for a few days, because your body will adapt, your stomach will shrink, but also you're in a period in which your body is converting glucose, or going from converting glucose and carbohydrates, which are the same basically, to burning fat as fuel. Now, you're going to go through the keto flu. You potentially, it doesn't happen to everybody. Sometimes it happens to me, sometimes it doesn't. Now, if this happens, understand that it's only going to happen for a few days. After you get past that 3 or 4 days, it's funny because say you're smashing a bunch of carbs, right? You're smashing a bunch of carbs today. And tomorrow, this is so common, by the way. Everybody's like, I'm going Atkins tomorrow. I'm going to eat my face off today. Watch out. Nachos, Del Grande, I'm in the kitchen. So that's what everybody does, right? And it's a horrible, flawed process. But then you'll go Atkins the next day, and you'll be pounding the water, because I'm always telling you, drink your damn water, blah, 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 right? You're going to bloat up. You're going to get even bigger, because for every gram of carbohydrates that you consume, 2.7 grams of water is going to be held on by that. Now, that's also why I say drink your damn water, because if you're not drinking water when you're low carb, you're not holding on to the water, plus you're not having as much sodium because you're not eating much processed food, so you're going to become electrolyte deficient. Anyway, that doesn't matter when you're not low carb, because you're holding back a lot of water, because of all the sodium, because of all the carbohydrates, because of everything. So when you do that switch, you're going to bloat up, you're going to get discouraged, you're going to be lacking of energy, you're going to be hungry, you're going to be all these things. So once you get past the 3 days, I promise you, it's legit easy. It's your body adapts to hunger. It adapts to, and I'm not saying hungry, like for the majority of people out there, they're probably under eating and they don't know what the hell they're doing wrong. You could be under eating. That's not everybody, okay? That was not me. But you could be timing your meals wrong. Your BMR could be 1,800 calories, and you could be eating 1,500 calories at the wrong times a day and just too much at one time, and your body can't process it, therefore it gets stored as fat. Now, that doesn't mean use it as an excuse. I only eat like a bird. That's not true. If you're 400 pounds, let's be honest with ourselves, you're not eating like a bird, okay? You might be eating like a bird eating processed Twinkies 24/7 or something like that. Dude, I was 350 pounds. I know I was not under eating. Okay? I will say I eat tons of food throughout the day, and then my biggest meal was dinner. I would eat piles and piles of hamburger helper and all kinds of stuff. Cake and ice cream in the middle of the night. It was really bad. So I understand. But that would be the hardest thing about Atkins, okay? Atkins induction or keto or whatever, anytime, it's just the transition. The initial transition, the shock to your body, the understanding that you're doing something new. But let's be completely honest, 100,000 million%, transitioning from anything to a diet meaning healthier way of eating, it's going to be difficult. So just bear with it. Do your best. You guys, I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Facebook. Our group is called Healthy Living for a Healthy Life. Be stronger than your excuses. Remember to spread love, not hate. Drink your damn water. Stay on track. #Team Boo. Have a beautiful day. Bye.